I've never coached a man over the age of 35 who can hit all 7 of these functional strength standards when we started working together. Not one. Some can crush a few, but are much weaker at others. Some think certain strength standards are easy until the movement standards expose them. You're probably going to find that out too, but here's the great news. Almost everyone I coach gets there in the end and beyond, and when they do, they look better, feel better, and become far more physically capable. So, where do you stand right now? Let's find out. Before I run you through the standards, a bit of context. When you were 20, you likely cared about how much you could squat, bench, and deadlift. Or at least I did, until various aches and pains showed up. As you get older, you start caring about how your body feels and moves and performs outside the gym. That's when functional strength matters. For me, functional strength is how strong you are relative to your body weight across fundamental human movements. The 7 movements that matter most are the squat, lunge, and hip hinge for the lower body, the horizontal push and pull, and vertical push and pull for the upper body. Those 7 movements are what the real world demands from your body. Get strong at them and you'll have a well-balanced physique, you'll move well, you'll be highly capable. I discovered this over a decade ago, which is why this has been the primary objective of my training and my coaching ever since. And here's an example of just how effective this can be. About 3 years ago, I signed up for a UK Special Forces fitness test. It required rucking with 20 kilos on my back, 24 kilometers, up and down a 3,000-foot mountain twice. I had 0 rucking experience and I had only 8 weeks to prepare. And I clocked one of the fastest times ever recorded. That is an elite, real-world functional strength test. And it just goes to show what's possible when you have a solid foundation of functional strength. You can step into almost anything and perform. So with that said, let's get into the standards. So the 7 functional strength standards that I've developed have 7 strength levels for each of the 7 movements. I categorize levels 1 to 3 as tier 3 rebuilding foundations, levels 4 to 5 as tier 2 forever strong, and levels 6 to 7 as tier 1 pro for the true functional beasts. Today I'm going to show you a level 4 if you're around the age of 40. This is a strength standard that I think every man over the age of 35 should be aiming for. It defines being functionally strong and capable. So let's start with the most familiar, the squat. The standard is to perform 5 reps with your entire body weight with the following tempo. Lower down for 3 seconds under control like this. Pause for 1 second, drive up and repeat. The movement standard must include maintaining a stacked ribcage over the pelvis from start to finish, and the ability to achieve full depth with the hips at least level with the knees. Other acceptable squat variations include barbell front squats, safety bar squats, or landmine squats. The standard just requires squatting for 5 reps. And a quick point here, I do not expect or encourage everyone to do barbell back squats. It is a very technical lift and the risk reward is not favorable for some people. And that's why I mention other front-loaded squat variations which are a lot easier to execute safely. So please bear that in mind. Next up, the most technical of the lower body movements, the hip hinge. The standard is to perform 5 reps of a Romanian deadlift with your entire body weight with the following tempo. Hinge your hips for 3 seconds like this, pause for 1 second, return to the upright position and repeat. The movement standard must include a full hip hinge in which your torso ends up parallel or close to parallel with the ground. Also the ability to maintain a stacked rib cage over the pelvis from start to finish so your spine stays neutral. This lift can also be performed with a barbell, any implement that allows you to load up a heavy enough Romanian deadlift, which is an expression of a pure hip hinge. The hip hinge is often a lot weaker relative to squats because a lot of people don't feel confident in their execution. But it's the best movement to develop the glutes, hamstrings, and a resilient lower back. So it's well worth mastering. If it's a movement you struggle with, I have a very detailed tutorial that I'll link, and I'm sure it's going to help you out. Finally, the most neglected of the lower body movements, the lunge, which also includes split squats as it's the same movement pattern. The standard is to perform 5 reps of a Bulgarian split squat with 70% of your total body weight in your hands. Lower down for 3 seconds, like this, pause for 1 second, drive up and repeat. The movement standard must include the ability to achieve full depth with that back knee very close to the ground. Also the ability to reverse the route on the way up in the same plane of motion you went down. Now most people can only handle about 50% of their squat or less, and it should be closer to 70, even 80%. This demonstrates excellent lower body stability and balanced muscular strength. In my opinion, it's also the king of lower body movements because it's the lowest risk, highest reward, and best carryover to life outside the gym. So if this shows up as a weakness for you, prioritize it. On to the upper body movements, but before we do, a quick note. If you'd like a program to follow that will build your strength across all these movements, that's exactly what I've built in my Rebuild training app. You can test your strength, you can choose the right program for you, and it will level up your strength across the board. I'll leave a link in the description. Right, back to it. How much you bench? We're about to find out as we kick off the upper body movements with horizontal pushing. The standard is to perform 5 reps of a dumbbell bench press with 80% of your total body weight in your hands. Lower down, under control for 3 seconds like this. Pause for 1 second, push up like so, and repeat. The movement standard must include the ability to anchor your shoulder blades back and down from start to finish, and the ability to achieve full depth in which the upper arms are parallel with the bench and the wrists are stacked over the elbows. Most men think they can crush this standard, but doing it with a controlled tempo, proper scapular positioning, and truly owning the weight is much harder than it looks. And that's why so many men struggle to develop their chest and their triceps. Rarely, if ever, is it a volume issue. Almost always, it's a technique and tempo issue. So I hope that insight helps you to get more out your horizontal pushing. Next up, one that most men dramatically overestimate how strong they are, horizontal pulling. The standard is to perform 5 reps of a chest-supported row with half your body weight in your hands. Start with a near parallel torso and arms long. Pull the elbows and shoulders back. Pause for 1 second. Straighten the arms for 3 seconds and repeat. The movement standard must include full retraction of the shoulder blades as you pull and full protraction as you reach. The reason why it's so easy to overestimate your strength with rows is because of how nuanced the movement is. Most people focus on driving the elbow back and the shoulder blades barely move. But the shoulder blades must fully retract to fully shorten the muscles of your back. This is true for all rows, and this is what sets the limit for how much weight you can handle. I have a tutorial on dumbbell rows that goes over this in a lot more detail if you want to learn more. On to the most technical and often weakest of the upper body movements, vertical pushing. The standard is to perform 5 reps of a standing shoulder press with half your body weight in your hands. Starting from the bottom, press up and straighten the arms overhead. Pull back down under control for 3 seconds like this. Pause actively for a second and repeat. The movement standard must include starting from a full stretch and maintaining a 45-degree elbow angle relative to the torso, as well as the ability to maintain a stacked rib cage over the pelvis when the arms are directly overhead. Very few men can pass this standard because the mobility and stability demands are so high. You need full unrestricted overhead mobility, excellent core and shoulder stability, and perfect technique. So if this is a movement and a strength standard you really struggle with, make sure that your program includes quality overhead mobility work, core stability work, and good quality functional strength training. All that is included in my own training programs that you'll find on my Rebuild training app. And last but not least, The most humbling of the upper body movements, vertical pulling. Now, I don't want to bruise your ego, but if you think you can do pull-ups or chin-ups, you might just find out that you've been compensating for years. So, from the bottom, arms directly overhead, pull up like so, pause for 1 second at the top, then lower for 3 seconds under control like this. Let's go through the movement standards in a bit more detail. Start with a tucked pelvis so it's parallel with your rib cage and your arms are fully overhead. As you pull up, the pelvis and rib cage must stay connected, and at the top, the shoulder blades should depress away from your ears. Then, when you lower back down, the pelvis and rib cage must stay connected until full lockout is achieved. That covers the two main reasons why most pull-ups and chin-ups fail. Number one, the pelvis and rib cage don't stay stacked, they diverge. You need exceptional core stability to maintain that position. And number two, the shoulder blades hike up and roll forward. And that happens due to weakness in the lower traps and serratus anterior. These muscles are essential to downwardly rotate and depress your shoulder blades as you pull yourself up. So the key to getting really strong at these exercises is to first master pull downs, because that way you can load less than your total body weight, you will not compensate, and you'll develop your muscles in a balanced way. Then you can progress your strength very quickly. I have a full tutorial on this with all the progressions that I'll link in the description below. By now, you should have a clear sense of your strengths and weaknesses, so you know your opportunities to level up and improve the balance of your functional strength. You also likely have a ton of questions, so I'll wrap this video up with 3 FAQs. What if I'm 50? So we lose about 10% of our strength potential with each decade after 40, and that rate increases the older we get. So if you're around the age of 50, take 10% off the standards. If you're around the age of 60, take 25% off the standards. That will recalibrate a level 4 to match your age. What about other movements? You'll notice I didn't include core or single joint exercises like bicep curls. And that's because these muscles are already working within the 7 fundamental movements that are multi-joint, multi-muscle movements that provide the biggest bang for your buck. And that's the key point here. It doesn't mean that isolation work isn't valuable. It certainly is. I certainly program it to bring up weak links and lagging body parts. I would just consider the 7 fundamental movements as foundational and everything else as supporting or layered on top. What if a movement causes pain? First, check your execution is on point. Second, make sure the weight is appropriate. If you're feeling pain, it may exceed your load-bearing capacity, so lower it. Those 2 things will eliminate most pain complaints, but if not, then you can also swap or modify an exercise shown for another. For example, swap barbell back squats for front-loaded squats, which are a lot more joint-friendly. Swap bilateral Romanian deadlifts for a unilateral variation to reduce lower back tension. Modify direct overhead pressing for high incline shoulder press, or swap to a landmine press instead. The exercises chosen today represent the strength standard, but it's not about how strong you are at these particular exercises. It's about how strong you are at these 7 fundamental movements, so you always have options. As I've said, I've never trained a man that hits all 7 standards straight away. Most find out they're a level 2 or 3 even after decades of training. But within 1 to 2 years of training with the right structure, they're at a level 4 and beyond. So it doesn't matter where you stand right now. What matters is clarity and that you have an honest understanding of where you are right now so you can train without ego, greater intent, and lock on to the next milestone. And here's the big picture. You can live a great life without being this strong, but generally speaking, stronger is better. You'll be more capable today and you'll extend your physical freedom long into the future. So use this as a guideline to get more out your training and build strength that matters. And if you'd like the full set of strength standards, you will find my 7 functional strength standards chart along with the programs that will help you to level up in my Rebuild training app. Hope you enjoyed that. Smarter training, superior results.